congratulations on surviving your pyramid of performance to be at the peak of your profession, and God bless you for your family. I have a suspicion, though, guys, that the true warriors on the front row dressed in red today, not in black. So thank you all for being here and for your service. General, I have two questions for sake of time. The first is the Navy issued a report in March of this year to Congress. It was entitled Sea Lift That the Nation Needs. And in that report, they talk about the sea lift capacity declining unless we do something about it to less than half the capacity required by 2035. And they came up with a plan, and I want to just probe a little bit on this, that they're talking about a three-leg plan. One is to buy used ships on the open market, retrofit them, build a new class of sea lift ship, Common Hull Auxiliary Multi-Mission Platform. Only the military can come up with a name like this, Common Hull Auxiliary Multi-Mission Platform, or CHAMP. And then third is extend the life of the current capacity we have right now. But there's a growing gap, and with regard to transferring, I think the in strength you're recommending is somewhere around 540, 550,000 troops. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
So what is the Army doing right now to anticipate this growing gap in terms of sea lift capacity, given the refocus on the threats in China that we're talking about today?
Well, Senator, we're working very closely with Transcom and Department of Defense, and you know, we're employing a concept called dynamic force employment, which requires us quickly to move troops into the area that there's potential problems. In order to do that, most of the Army is going to move by sea lift. We're kind of agnostic where it comes from, at the Navy or it's civilian or it's somewhere in between, but we know what our requirements are, and we are laying down our requirements with the appropriate authorities to get that sea lift and make sure it's not only here today, but it's here tomorrow too.
How are you integrating with the Navy? General Lyons just a few weeks ago said that, you know, they can only provide about 65% of the demand today. Do you agree with that number?
I'm not an expert on exactly the sea lift available.
Would you?
But I will take that on, though.
Thank you, sir. If confirm, I think this is something I'd like to have you guys follow up. My main question today, sir, and we talked about it this week, and thank you for the time. Over the last 45 years, Congress has used continuing resolutions 187 times. 187 times. 13 of the last 16 years, up until 2018, the year started under a continuing resolution. The last 2 years, though, were the exception. You know, we were able to bypass and get the appropriations done such that we did not have to use a continuing resolution to fund the military. Because of that, readiness is on the comeback because of the focus on it, and also because of consistent funding. Maintenance in our large platform assets is beginning to come back around because of continuity of funding. And yet, as we sit here today, there are only 33 days left between now and 31 July, which is basically the end of the fiscal year. September 30 is the end of the fiscal year, but if the August break happens this year, we come back from break, there are only 10 working days left in September. There's no way we're going to get defense appropriations done by September 30th. Sir, how does that impact specifically your troops and your ability to regain readiness and also to rebuild the Army for today's demand?
Well, Senator, what happens with a continuing resolution to the United States Army is, you know, we have about 85 new programs that cannot start without
89.
About 85 programs that are all modernization programs that can't start. There's about 33 production increases that industry is ready to go that won't happen. Commanders will slow down training because they don't know how much money they're going to have in the future, so they'll start to hedge, and they'll not do the level of training that we want to do. All these things will impact our ability to keep units highly trained, as we discussed. So the readiness is going to go down, the modernization is not going to happen, quality of life is not going to happen, and all those are really critical for what we need for the Army.
If you're confirmed, would you help us and have your staff provide specific examples if October 1 comes and we actually are under a continuing resolution? And then, sir?
We will.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kane.